Hi everyone, it's Heather here at Creative Faith Art Studio. Thank you so much for joining me today. I just finished my new journal for 2020. I was using this traveler's notebook, and here is the insert that I filled. And I will do a flip through of that if anybody is interested in seeing it. There's a few pages that are still blank, but I think it's pretty full. It's probably about 4 times, maybe even 6 times the size that it was. So I'm gonna retire this one, and I just put this is what I put back in here is my prayer journal, which just has a few pages left to fill, and then this is my task list for jobs and projects that I have, and then I started a new one for the coming year. This one only has a few pages left, so I'm going to carry over what's left over from last year into this year's, and then probably get rid of that little notebook too. So anyway, yeah, if anybody's interested, let me know in the comments and I'll do a flip through of this one. So I'm so excited about this journal. I made it from a grocery bag, and I don't know for anybody who's joined me previously, I've been making these little traveler's notebooks. They're about this size, and I've also made those out of grocery bags. And so this one, I wanted something a little bit bigger because if I want to add a picture or something to them, I can. And I have the Canon selfie printer, so I can print pictures a little bit smaller, and those print a little smaller anyway. But it's just to be a little more creative when I add photos. So this I thought would be a nice size. It's got about, let's see, it's 7 inches by 12 inches, and then it's got a 3-inch spine almost. So I put 5 inserts in. Each insert has between 10 and 13 full pages, so I don't know how many pages that works out to be, but it's a lot. I stitched in the signatures with waxed linen thread, and I just did a closure with some vintage lace that was crocheted. I got this at an antique store. I think it's really pretty. It's got a tear in it. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm generally careful with my stuff, so it should be okay. I used some vintage fabric to cover the outside of the journal, and I put some more vintage fabric on the spine, and then I decoupaged some sewing pattern paper over that. I added some texture paste, and I did a rough whitewash with gesso, so it kind of matches the smaller notebooks that I've been making. And then I made, this is just a piece of cotton muslin, and I stamped a little bit on it. This is another piece of vintage lace. I only have a little tiny bit of all these fabrics left, so that's why I thought I was kind of excited to use them on something that I'm going to keep. And then I glued this to the front. So here's my little charm. It's pretty basic. It's just buttons, and I've got a little lock charm, and I think there's a key on here somewhere. Yeah, right there. But some vintage buttons and a little jingle bell, because I like jingle bells. So now, excuse me, I've got a tickle in my throat. So here's the inside. I took the bottom fold, you know where the bottom of the bag is, and how when you fold a paper sack, there's that little flap on the bottom. So I used that to make a little pocket, and I stuck some pens in here. I covered the inside with some scrapbook paper, and I used more of that vintage fabric just to kind of bring it in, because again, I only have a little bit left, and I really, really like it. So I tucked my pens in here, and then I put some paper clips and a library card in the front. And in the back pocket, I stuck some ephemera, just you know, in case I'm out and about and I have some time to add something or feel like doing that. But here, I'll just flip through this really quickly. It's a combination of scrapbook paper, some old children's book pages, there's some old sheet music, there's some tea-dyed copy paper, there's an old Vogue magazine. There's a few pages from that. Everything in here that's vintage is, I think the Vogue magazine was from 1954, and the storybook was from 1938, possibly. I'd have to look at it. It doesn't really matter. It's old. And then the sheet music is really old, so I had to reinforce at least one of them with washi tape, and I probably will have to do more when I start working in the book. But here we go. All right. So these, the pages that I put in the journal are, the largest size is probably like 11.5 inches. The storybook was really, really tall. I just stitched in a few little pockets on some of the pages. Here's that washi tape I reinforced this page with. The Vogue magazine. And here's some more pockets I stitched in. This doesn't really have a theme. I know a lot of people do themes in their journals, but this one is just really colorful. I kind of picked this green fabric out of my fabric bin, and I said that's what we're going with. So it's just pretty and colorful, and I'm excited to work in it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So here's the second signature. I don't ever really add much to as far as ephemera and decorations go, because I know I'm going to add stuff as I go. I just folded this up. It looks kind of like an envelope, so I don't know if I'll, you know, when I work in here, I'll tape that down and tuck some things in this way and that way, or if I'll write in it in this way and then maybe tape it shut. I don't know. I thought that was kind of neat though. Some more stitched pockets. Yeah, I just took my ruler and tore the paper down so that the edges are a little rough on the top. Anything that needed to be torn down, or cut down to size. This is fun. This is an ad. It's wedding lingerie for that. And I just thought it was so pretty and soft. And then it's got these little daisies around. Oh. So anyway, anything that had to be cut down, or I used my ruler to cut it down. And then I folded in a lot of pages to make fold outs. So like this, the storybook, which was really tall. Like I said, this is a full, was a full spread. So it wouldn't have fit in the journal. So I just folded it up. There's some of that old paper. And then this was fun. I found in my scrapbooking stash some paper that had the sewing pattern kind of theme to it. And since I put the sewing pattern on the cover, and then I thought the Vogue magazine with fashion, I was like, oh, it's kind of cute. And I guess it does then have a little bit of a theme, but not really. I wasn't trying to do that. It was totally an accident. And I stitched this down, and I like the way the little tail hangs off the end. And this book on peonies. Peonies are some of my favorite flowers. I made a little belly band. I don't know if that qualifies because it's really close to the edge, but that's what I'm going to call it. So a little tab that I stitched on. And then I love the way this paper reminded me of a honeycomb. And then just by chance, which is weird, there's a bee there. So it was just, it really was like this little book that just kind of came together. And I love this paper. This is an old card. You can tell it's out of a scrapbook because look at on the back. Isn't that pretty? It's like it's too bad they couldn't, couldn't get all of this. I bet that was lovely. And I love this way this paper looks together. I'm just really happy. The paper is pretty, and I'll try to go a little faster. The patterns and the colors and the way the paper sounds. This is an old decal. Some of this stuff I went through a drawer of stuff and I don't even know where it came from. I know I bought it, but I can't tell you where or when, or if it was at a thrift shop, or I love this paper too. Some more little stitching. This is the end. It gets a little plain towards the end, but that's okay. It's not really, there's actually some colored paper in here, but it's so faint, it's such a pale yellow, you can't tell. Some old playing cards. And the peonies again. And poppies, those are some of my favorite things. So yeah, so there you go. And then just a little pocket in the back. And that's that. So let me know what you think. I would be happy to make, do a tutorial on how I made this cover. It actually came together pretty quickly. The hardest part was waiting for it to dry as I painted and glued stuff down. So if anybody's interested, let me know in the comments, and I hope this year is going off to a good start for you, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.